I hated 2025. Every single part of it. Hated it. Maybe except December. This year broke me in so many ways I wasn't prepared for. And not just professionally, but personally as well. And what made it worse was the fact that I saw my parents and my family struggle and not being able to help them out. 2025 destroyed and stripped my confidence, my ego, my stability as well. And I thought everything was an utter failure of my part. But now, after reflecting and deeply thinking about this whole process, I have something different to say about it. At the start of the year, everything looked good on paper. I got my first job offer in November after being laid off from a startup in October. My mindset was simple. A job is a job, so be grateful of it. And I still am, don't get me wrong. The problem wasn't the company itself. I'm always going to be grateful for my friend giving me that opportunity. The problem was how unprepared I was for it. There was little onboarding, there was high client expectations from day one, and the keys were handed down to me before I even knew how to drive the car per se. Every morning, I dreaded waking up. The motivation disappeared. The magic of working remotely at a job you enjoyed faded. I wasn't ready, and I failed at it. Straight on. Eventually, I made a decision. I told my supervisor I couldn't continue any longer. Felt like losing, like admitting I couldn't overcome adversity. But at the end of the day, you make choices, and you have to abide by those choices, and you have to live by them. And just like that, I just quit my job with no plan B, no safety net, I guess, with just an emergency fund. I needed a job fast. I interviewed everywhere. Some incredible opportunities came to my table. I had multiple referrals from big tech companies, and every single time I didn't make it. Round after round, rejection after rejection. By June, I was still unemployed and watching my savings disappear. I was burning cash so fast. My back was against the wall. No way out. With no other option, I only did something that I've been avoiding for months. I finally formalized my freelance work into an actual business. I finally registered that LLC. It felt like progress, but it was only paperwork because I still had no clients. So what did desperation make you do? I lived on LinkedIn. I was posting, commenting, DMing people multiple times a day, every single day, following, chasing people, and again and again and again, deals almost closed and then disappeared, ghosted, over and over. And this quickly became my reality, a reality that I could not accept. I kept on getting so close to the finish line, but not being able to overcome it or cross the finish line. So a couple months go by. I onboarded my close friend, now my business partner, to help me find some clients. But it was the same cycle, the same results. I checked my bank account and I only had 1 month left. And 1 month until I had nothing. If we didn't land a client, I didn't know what was coming next. So around the same time, I was dealing with a court hearing as well. And mentally, it just pushed me over the edge. I was already worried about my money, my future, and my business failing. And now I had this over my head too. It was ridiculous. I felt like every part of my life was just crumbling, and everything was reaching a fever pitch, and the pressure was mounting every single time. So it's September. My business partner called me. We landed our first client as a real business entity. Just days before my bank account hit zero. After the call, I just sat down in my car and I cried. I cried. Not out of happiness necessarily, but relief. It was gratitude. Because I spent so many months doubting every single decision I've made to this point. The same month, I ran my first marathon. I signed up earlier in the year before I knew this whole collapse was coming. My training was terrible. My mindset wasn't there. I was half-assing the whole training routine. And I got sick the same week for race day. But I refused to quit. And while it looked like I was doing well on the outside, everything was falling apart. Nothing worked, dating didn't work, watching friends getting engaged, getting married, starting families, while I felt like I was losing in every facet of my life. Career, relationships, confidence, everything. I've never failed so much in my life, ever. 2025 essentially took everything that I thought defined me. The ego, the comfort, the illusion of control. Just think about it. Just a year earlier, in 2024, life was good. I was traveling, I was debt free, stable income, I was learning fast, I had a good technology job. But this year was a brutal wake up call. My flaws were magnified, the lack of discipline was exposed, my confidence was dismantled. Everything who I thought who I was exposed. I essentially was exposed. And I realized how much of a novice I really was. But now, after analyzing and truly having a moment to myself, reflecting how hard this year was, I now understand why it needed to happen. When everything is taken and stripped away from you, you finally meet who you are. Oftentimes, when you're surrounded by success, surrounded by everything that you already need and is already taken for, you become someone different. You don't understand your true self. And it's not only until you face difficulties, hardships, and just your life going at you every single day, you finally meet your true self. And that was 2025 for me. I finally understood who I was. I was weak, I was strange, I wasn't confident, everything was an illusion. And this year was the year where I truly became who I am. The year where my identity was finally sealed, the person who I am was finally discovered, and it's the year where I can finally be set free. I finally understand who I am, and I know the goals and the path that I'm going to take. 2026 might be even harder, but at least I already have a blueprint from 2025 because I already know who I am and I already know what it takes. After failing throughout the whole year, I can learn from my failures. And at that point, it's just keep moving forward. This 2026 will be the year where I keep moving forward towards my goal.